All right, here's the deal. We are doing our CarEdge Fall 2023 car market update. If you missed our Summer 2023 car market update, just click on it in the description down below or search for it, whatnot. Here's the deal, pups. We are going to talk about new and used cars. We're going to kick things off with new. Before we do, can you explain to folks who we are, what we do in 20 seconds? Because I think this is going to be a video that's shared frequently.
Well, I'm the fat guy wearing a gray sweater who spent 43 years in retail automotive, running dealerships, and well, I have some knowledge I can share with you.
All right, my name's Zach Shefsky, my dad Ray Shefsky. Here's the deal.
And between the two of us, we have 43 years in the retail automotive space.
New car market update, Dad.
Yes.
There are two very different markets. We experienced this throughout the summer and we anticipate experiencing this in the fall. There are brands that have a lot of inventory and there are brands that have very little inventory. The chart that everyone's seeing on their screen comes from Cox Automotive, and this is market days supply. The industry average is just less than 60 days of market days supply. Market days supply, if you could explain, is the amount of days it takes to sell all available inventory based on current sales rates, correct?
Exactly. So if you normally sell 30 widgets in a month and you have 29 widgets, I suppose. You have 29 widgets, you have less than a 30-day supply of widgets at that point.
All right, so automakers and dealers care a lot about market day supply, and so should you. Automakers and dealers that have a high market day supply means they are more likely to negotiate and come down on price.
Yes.
Automakers and dealers that have a lower market day supply, they have less incentive to negotiate because they just don't have enough inventory to meet demand. The brands that have a lot of inventory right now, Dad: Infiniti, Chrysler, Lincoln, Dodge, Ford, Buick, Jeep, Audi. Those are the ones that stand out. Mercedes is up there as well, and there's a few other names, but those are the primary brands that have a lot of inventory in today's market and will continue to have a lot of inventory in the fall.
Assuming that
we're going to get there.
I'm not allowed to mention it just yet, ladies and gentlemen.
We do have a slide dedicated to the UAW strike, and we will be talking about that. Here's an example, Dad. You're in the market for an Infiniti QX60. You can see back at CarEdge.com, there's 124 days supply.
Yes.
Automakers, dealers typically want their day supply to be what? Closer to
60.
60?
Yeah, 60 to 90. Definitely no more than 90.
So when you're at 124 days supply, you can see our CarEdge fair price algorithm suggests there's about $2,000 that should come off of this vehicle. And that's because the market day supply is high. Yes. Here's a Ford F-150, the Lariat trim, Dad, 149 days supply. Again, our algorithm thinks there's some negotiability here because the day supply is so high.
Yes.
The brands that do not have inventory, and this will continue in the fall is our expectation as well: Kia, Honda, Subaru, Lexus, BMW, and Toyota. These are the brands that are at the bottom of the market days supply paradigm, and they truly, I mean, we walk around car dealership lots all the time. There's just no new Hondas in our region. There's no new Toyotas in our region. And they're pre-sold.
And there were no new BMWs when we went to the BMW dealership. I mean, they just didn't exist.
So if you're in the market for one of these vehicles, understand that either these vehicles are already pre-sold,
in a lot of cases,
you're not going to really be able to negotiate off of them.
Save 20% on everything CarEdge. Data, coach, reports, consult. Use promo code 20 or save $100 on the vehicle service contract, extended or tech warranty. They're automatically applied at checkout now through September 4th only. Although having said that, we do know that for whatever reason, Subaru dealers seem to be more receptive, even with smaller inventories, to still working with the customer and negotiating off of the MSRP.
Subaru is definitely the anomaly in this group. They do represent a pretty good value in today's market, and they also, like you said, have some negotiability. This is also especially true when you go down to the model level. So we're talking about market day supply on the manufacturer level. When you start to look at some of the specific models, like Subaru Legacies or Solterras, the days supply can actually be quite high.
Yes.
And bear in mind, everything we're talking about for new and used cars can be regionalized as well. So the concept is market days supply. You have to see how it applies in your area and for a particular make. For example, if you're in the market right now, Dad, for a Toyota RAV4 Prime, the market day supply is negative. There are none. And people are paying an arm and a leg to get their hands on a RAV4 Prime.
And probably their firstborn in many cases, which was the reason they wanted the RAV4 in the first place.
Here's an example, Dad, from the CarEdge.com car search again. A 2023 Kia Telluride SX 4-wheel drive. There's a 26-day supply. There are 12 for sale within a 100-mile radius. I think I was in Utah when I ran these numbers, and 21 have sold in the last 45 days. Our fair price is MSRP on this.
Yeah, and you might not be able to get it for a MSRP.
We're going to talk about that though, Pops, because we have seen a growing trend away from market adjustments, at least the negotiability of market adjustments, because numbers are up just a little bit. But you're all right. A lot of dealers are still asking for above MSRP on these very in-demand vehicles. 2023 Honda Civic Touring front-wheel drive. There's a 34-day supply in Utah. 3 for sale, 4 have sold in the last 45 days. Again, we think a fair price is MSRP on that vehicle. That being said, Dad, say no to market adjustments. That is our advice in the fall. Say no to market adjustments with the exception of specialty vehicles. If you're in the market for a Ford Bronco Raptor, you're going to pay a market adjustment.
Unfortunately, things that are niche vehicles, there's always going to be a limited supply, and there's going to be a relatively strong demand. And anytime you have that situation, those people that are interested in those few vehicles are usually willing to pay up to get them.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason that we're suggesting to say no to market adjustments in general on that Telluride, on that Honda, is because we are seeing, and we have a new initiative, caredge.com/trusted. We are building out a trusted dealer network that are charging MSRP or lower on vehicles. Specialty vehicles, again, are the exception. You're in the market for a C8 Corvette. There are going to be markups. You're in the market for that crazy Dodge that has 1,000 horsepower. There are going to be markups. But most mainstream vehicles, even though the market day supply is quite low, you can find at MSRP or potentially even a little bit below.
Yes, you just have to work at it.
Brands that represent a fair value in the fall of 2023, Dad. Let's talk about. There are 3 that we think are actually a fair value as new cars in the fall of 2023. They are
Subaru, Nissan, and Mazda. Every one of them offers entry-level vehicles. They seem to be willing to at least work with people on the pricing of those vehicles. They don't think so highly of themselves that they're necessarily trying to charge more than what the MSRP is. And in many cases, you can get below MSRP.
Yeah, these are 3 brands where we think the product, the warranty, the experience matches the price that you're paying.
Yes.
Some of them are trying to go up market, like the CX-90 from Mazda, for example, but you can still get an under $30,000 new car from each of these automakers, and that is rare in today's market. And you don't have to freaking order the thing, because we're still seeing the ordering going on with those other brands. That's another way to get at MSRP or below, is you have to get on a wait list for 18 months. Not with these brands.
You can still get under $30,000 small SUVs from these brands.
These are the 3 winners in our eyes for the fall of 2023. Now, Dad.
Yes.
New car inventory. This chart shows the trend of inventory. It is building back up. So that trend we anticipate will continue in the fall as well. There is a bit of a wild card here, and we're going to talk about it in just a moment. But the trend has been, and I will say, I anticipate will continue to be, new vehicle inventory continuing to build up. We also see this in incentives, Pops.
Yes.
The average transaction price for new cars has come down from record highs earlier this year and at the end of last year, and the average incentive spend as a percentage of transaction price has gone up significantly, and we anticipate that we'll continue to see that as well.
And what that means, that's the amount that the manufacturer is helping the consumer with the purchase. So we're seeing it at well over 4% of the transaction prices being paid for through incentives from the manufacturers, when just 60 days ago, that number might have been about 2.5%.
Here's a perfect example of what we saw in the summer, and we anticipate we will see more in the fall. Ram had up to 15% off of MSRP on 2023 in stock 1500s. That wasn't a dealer discount.
Yeah.
That was a Ram, and the OEM, the original equipment manufacturer, the automaker, their program. We anticipate seeing more things like this to be aggressive in the fall.
And as a consumer, you should know that you can also work the dealer for a discount after that from the manufacturer.
Separate from it. Yeah, absolutely. Go to Deal School. If you've never seen Deal School, please go to Deal School. Deal School teaches you how to negotiate. Now, the potential wild card in all of this only impacts 3 automakers: Stellantis, Ford, and General Motors. These are the 3 automakers that seem to have the highest days supply of inventory from all the data that we collect and all the industry publications put out there. There is the potential for a United Auto Workers, the union of laborers who produce vehicles, to strike.
Yes.
Our estimation is that this strike will be more of a blip on the radar in the grand scheme of things rather than a prolonged months-long strike. If there is a prolonged months-long strike, then fall will be a very difficult time to buy a new car, because there will be no production of For Stellantis, that's Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. For Ford, and for General Motors, Chevy products, and others.
Well, Ford is also Lincoln,
and Lincoln, yep.
Not that matters.
So, Pops, our estimation is that we will not see a material impact in terms of inventory depletion because of the UAW strike, right?
If there is a strike, and the betting money is that there will be a strike, our feeling is that perhaps at its longest point, it might last 2 weeks.
Yeah. So the major impact in the fall will not be the UAW strike based on our best estimation. Now, Dad, I've rated, and I want your input on this. This is your first time seeing it. I'm rating it a fine time to buy a new car. The reason I'm saying the fall is a fine time to buy a new car, somewhere between fair and good, is because I anticipate that the end of the year, the fourth quarter, our winter update will probably be when we're saying it's a pretty good time to buy a new car.
Yes, especially at the end of the year. But for going into the fall, I think this should be a reasonably good time based on the increase in incentives and much more dealer willingness to discount their products.
Let's talk about used car, folks. The used car market update. Prices are down, but they're still sky high. The latest data from Edmunds shows us that used car prices, average transaction prices, are down about 4.6%. However, we are still up more than 46% since 2018. Our expectation is that in the fall of 2023, we will continue to see sky high retail used car prices.
There's nothing on the horizon that indicates there's going to be a tremendous influx of used car vehicles, which is what we would need to see used car retail prices coming down. So without that happening, used cars themselves will remain somewhat scarce. Pricing will remain somewhat elevated.
Drivers for used vehicle inventory are vehicles coming off of lease, which we have seen less of, and also repossessed vehicles. But even though we're seeing increases, non-trivial increases in repos, it's not enough to offset the scarcity of used vehicles. When you do go to look for used cars, you are going to see older cars and more of those repos in the market.
Yes.
That necessitates, let's just be very clear, this is some buying advice, even though we're just trying to give a market update for the fall. Pre-purchase inspection. Go to CarEdge.com and go to free guides and then search for pre-purchase inspection, or search on Google pre-purchase inspection CarEdge. Please, please, please read our guide about pre-purchase inspections, because the vehicles that are out there for sale in the used car market are more expensive and they're older. Higher mileage. And if they were a repo, you really want to make sure you get a second set of eyes on them.
Exactly.
Now, Dad, that being said, the other factor of this is it's harder to find cheap used cars. So if you're in the market, we have seen a paradigm switch. Under $10,000 used cars don't exist.
Yes.
Over $50,000 used cars, there's a huge increase of them. So this is another factor for consumers out there if they're going and thinking about buying a used car. That is going to continue in the fall. There's no indicator that says, oh, there's going to be a huge influx of under $20,000 used cars. No, the trend has been and will continue to be in the fall. It's very difficult to find a quality under X price point used car. If you're looking for something more expensive, sure, it's out there.
And in many cases, they are equal to or more expensive than their brand new counterparts.
Now, while this is happening, wholesale values in the summer of 2023 have fluctuated. They've been up, they've been down. The expectation, I think, and we'll have a brief discussion here, is that wholesale values will normalize a little bit, but continue to depreciate slightly over the fall months. That means that used car values, like for your trade-in, for example, will continue to go down appreciably because the values at the auctions continue to go down slowly but surely. So the estimation here is that wholesale values won't necessarily plummet even more in the fall, but they have at the end of the summer. I think they'll kind of slowly and gradually even out and be a general downward trend, which is normal for used cars.
Yes. Historically, through the late summer and fall is when you see wholesale values continue to decline, not necessarily decline at the rate of 1 or 1.5% a week, but at a more normalized, maybe 0.25%. So I think we'll continue to see declines on the wholesale values. I think the rate of decline will be somewhat minimalized between now and the end of the year.
Now, why should anyone who watches our videos care about wholesale used car prices? Because they are a proxy measure for what you're going to get for your trade-in. We have caredge.com/sell, where you get competitive offers in one place to help you sell your car for the most money. That being said, the expectation is that in the fall, trade-in values will continue to take a hit.
Yes.
Your car is worth more today to sell it than it will be in October.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow. One other factor for both used cars and new cars, and then we'll give our rating for the used car market in the fall, would be average or APRs, interest rates. The average interest rate on a used car loan in the summer is 13.76%. For a new car loan, 9.48%. There is not a single indication in this, you just have to look to the Federal Reserve for that those are going to go down in the fall. If anything, they will continue to go up slowly but surely. So interest rates will continue to be a mitigating factor for consumption, consumers going out there and purchasing vehicles, because it makes that monthly payment so unattainable for many. So in the fall, it will continue to be difficult to get a good. You have to reevaluate. You have to redefine what good is in terms of an interest rate on a new or especially a used car loan.
And it'll have a negative impact on what your monthly payment's going to be. So it will impact what will actually be able to fit into your budget.
All right, Dad, that leads us to our rating for the used car market as buyers in the fall. I'm going to say it's a difficult time to be in the used car market. Looking to buy a used car, it is going to be very, very difficult.
Looking to buy a quality used car will remain extremely difficult. Looking to buy something less than a quality used car will have its difficulties unto itself, only because pricing will still remain high on those vehicles that should be selling for less.
All right, hopefully you found this useful. I know it's a longer video from us, but a lot of great information. The presentation we went through is linked in the comments, in the description down below. Our website is caredge.com. We have a full team, a full group of people that every single day wake up and try and help people buy cars and sell your car if you need to as well. So please go avail yourself of all the information and resources that are back at caredge.com.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Pops.
Thank you.